Hello everyone, Aaron Stewart, Data Access Golf, live, coming at you after the second round of the Travelers Championship. Kind of a surprise up at the top of the leaderboard for sure. I don't know much about Zach Sucher. I pulled up here to just kind of take a look, but we'll dive into that really quick. And then I've been working on some training with the Body Trak and learning some really cool stuff. And so I thought I'd jump on real quick and share what we're learning there as well. So let's jump into it and get going. Cool. Welcome back. Yeah, so this Zach, he's something else. I mean, the highest he's ever been on the FedEx Cup rankings is 206th. I'm looking over here, like his best finishes, like T42 at the Sanderson's Farm in 2017, T35 at AT&T Byron Nelson so far this year. He was cut at the Canadian Open, T50 at Wells Fargo. He's got 0 top 10 finishes. He's made almost $56,000 this year. Played at University of Alabama, Birmingham, from Atlanta, Georgia. Turned pro in 2009. So just kind of lightning in a bottle this week is what it kind of looks like to be leading the Travelers, by 2 strokes after going 64-65 is pretty incredible. I think all of us kind of thought that he would, after the 64 yesterday, tied for the lead, that he'd probably come back to earth today, but it hasn't happened. He's been playing really, really well. So extraordinary and really cool and good for him. Up 156 spots if he wins. Currently ranked 222nd in the FedEx Cup. So, amazing. Right now they've got him projecting at 66th if he wins this thing, if he finishes it out. So, pretty incredibly fun to watch, to see how things going. Obviously, you've got Ches Reavie and Keegan Bradley and Ryan Moore and some of the, Paul Casey, who always plays well, and Cromwell, Jason Day. So you've got some folks coming up behind them that we would expect to do well, especially Paul Casey. He's just done really well in this tournament year after year after year. So anyway, what I wanted to get in and talk a little bit about, so I've mentioned in the past that we love technology here at Data Access Golf for sure. Love it. Just the opportunity to use technology to kind of decrease the amount of time that it takes to figure out what your swing is actually doing. So we can kind of reduce this, what I think I'm doing to what I'm actually doing. The closer those get together, then the better golf we're going to play, right? And for years, what we thought we were doing and what we are actually doing have been very far apart, and we didn't have really good technology to tell us any differently. And so those that started playing really well had to figure it out for themselves and learn how things felt, even though what they thought were doing and what they were really doing actually weren't even accurate. And I always go back to when you listen to Jack Nicklaus talk about his, I think it was a 1-iron that he hit on 17, I think at Pebble Beach, and put it in there really tight and stuff. And they say, hey, how'd you hit this thing? And how'd you hit cut this ball in there? And he talks about how he set up and how he hit it. Well, we know now from TrackMan that it's impossible to hit a fade that way. That's exactly not how you hit a fade. That the shape of the ball is not caused from the face, it's more caused from the path. But somehow or another, in Jack's mind, how to hit a fade had worked out where he thought his body was doing one thing, but it wasn't. Which is completely amazing. That's literally digging it out of the dirt. That Jack Nicklaus learned from his own experience what it felt like to hit a fade. And then he had to listen to everybody tell him all the experts telling him, oh yeah, this is how you hit a fade. And then he had to take what he was experiencing and translate that and stick it into some kind of a mold from all these experts and make it work for him, make his reality fit with what everybody was telling him the reality was. And it wasn't accurate. So that's the fascinating part about those that played well in the past are amazing learners, that they could stick and figure things out for themselves. And despite all the bad information that everybody was giving them, and we know that based on the ball flight laws now and with the, with TrackMan and Flight Scope and all this, we know that all this stuff that we've been told all our lives is wrong. And yet these individuals were somehow or another learning to work the ball and make it all work with a whole lot of bad information and labels and stuff of what was actually what they were being told was going on in their swing and what was actually going on in their swing was completely different. And somehow or another they had to make that work. That's amazing. That is amazing. And so now we've got a situation where we've got so many really cool pieces of technology. We can learn so much more quickly that it's just awesome. And my children obviously being the recipients of that, I was able to go out and play with the kids Wednesday night. We had a great time. And as a dad, there is nothing better than watching your son pound it out past you. And I even caught one like full on square in the face and ripped it and thought to myself, okay, if he gets that one, then he just flat out hits it further than me. Because I got it. I got it. I put it out there. High draw, which is about as good as I can do. And he still got me. So, but what was really cool is when we got out there together and I got to see his game, and I know his game very well. It was fun to be able to see some things and understand that he had, and again, be sort of reintroduced to, the tendencies that he has in his game, and to have those come back so quickly. He was hitting a big slice, which tends to be his miss, and he swings at it so hard, and he still finds the middle of the face. But it was a simple adjustment to where when he gets in trouble, his shoulders are open. And there they were again. I'm like, dude, check your shoulders. And he's like, yeah, they're square. And again, just sort of reconfirmed everything that we as humans have such a hard time understanding what we're actually doing. What we feel we're doing and what we're actually doing can be way off. And he was quite a bit open, and yet he would look at his shoulder and look back and forth and go, yeah, I'm square. And it was just like a great reminder, like, Kedrick, no, you're not. You lay a club on his shoulders and say, look, you're pointed, like 30 degrees left. And as soon as he straightened out that shoulder, boom, he started hitting. Now he kept lining up to hit a fade, and he started hitting them dead straight down the left side, and putting them in the rough down the left side, but dead straight and far. I mean, he was just killing it. And it was fun to watch, really cool to watch. So definitely alignment, alignment is so important. You got to have your feet, and I know we do that with alignment sticks, but take that alignment stick and leave one on the ground if you can. Take your club off. My grandpa used to do this all the time. Before he would hit a ball, I'll just grab a club here. He would get up. Can I do this? Is this crouched down? He would get a club and he would check his knees, check his hips, check his shoulders to see if they were all lined up. And I used to laugh at him like, how hard can that be? But definitely see a lot of amateurs out there who have some part of their body misaligned. And even checking your arms. You want your arms to be lined up straight. You got a lot of people that tend to, especially if they get the club a little forward, they tend to open up even their arms, their shoulders, their arms, and open up their upper body. And then they, have alignment sticks down for their feet and their knees and their hips. And so the lower body's squared up and the upper body's completely open. So definitely look at your alignment. If the ball's not going where you think it should be going, a lot of times that can be fixed with alignment. And then obviously the next check is your grip and making sure that the leading edge and the back of your front arm are lined up in the back. Easy to check and easy to look at. Was looking at some swings yesterday from some fellow students of mine, and definitely noticed some interesting stuff going on with cupped wrists and bowed wrists and club faces closed and open and not matching up, and that is such an easy thing to occur over time because you want your grip to feel, if you make an adjustment to your grip and it feels strong, then you look for that strong feeling over and over and over again, and before you know it, you're too strong, and now you've got to go the other way. The pendulum swung, and now we've got to go back the other way. So those things to look at, again, just kind of pick them up from watching my kids play. Way fun. Super, super cool. And then the other thing I've been looking at today, I went through some training with Body Trak today. And again, Body Trak's essentially a pressure mat that you stand on, and then you make swings. They use it for a lot of different things, but it's really impressive in golf how accurate this thing is and how helpful the Body Trak is. And the thing that we're learning is we talk about weight. We've always talked about weight shift. Now we're learning that weight shift isn't probably very accurate in a scientific sense. It's really more about pressure and the change of pressure throughout the golf swing in our feet. And the center of pressure, COP. Center of pressure is something that we look at now that becomes super fascinating because you can definitely shift your weight and move your body center of mass back, and it looks like you've shifted your weight. But you can also keep your center of mass here in the very center and lift your foot for a brief second and come up and down. Well, your center of mass hasn't moved very much, but the pressure in your back foot has almost gone to 100% because you lifted your foot up, right? And so all the pressure now is pushing down on your back foot. So those are the sorts of things that we're trying to reconcile, this weight shift versus pressure shift, and the center of gravity versus center of pressure, and how those interact. And you'll note a center of gravity doesn't move a whole lot in your golf swing, but the center of pressure can move quite a bit in your golf swing and even around. And that's just super cool stuff to kind of understand how the golf swing works. So one of the little things I wanted to bring up and look at today and kind of run through it, I don't want to get too deep into it, but kind of give you an idea of how we're seeing the pressure in a golf swing move as it's going on. And this is, I don't have mine. I wanted to show mine. So I went and got this from Body Trak, and I hope they're okay. I love Body Trak. Body Trak's awesome. If you can afford a Body Trak, grab a Body Trak. This will help your game so much. What we're learning about pressure, and this is kind of the cool thing, I've talked to some people who say, why do I care what my feet are doing? Well, you can actually, every little thing you do in your golf swing, the further away you get from the Body Trak, every little thing you do, you can see it, how it changes the pressure in your golf swing, the ground pressure in your golf swing. And it does. And it's really cool. If you will take if you take a golf club standing on a pressure mat and you just stick it like this and just take it and go back and forth like this, you can see the pressure in your feet changing just by the movement of your golf swing. So if you think about winding up and follow through and anything that goes on, the club closed, the club open, even the position of your wrists will show in this pressure mat. The further away you get, the more gravity's pulling, and you can see the pressure change in this mat. So it's super fascinating. You can make changes in your golf swing and absolutely see it in the Body Trak mat. It's awesome. It's off the charts, fascinating how detailed and how specific we can get on everybody's golf swing. And the cool thing too is when you look at a bunch of different pros and even just a bunch of different amateurs, that the way we move the center of pressure in our bodies is unique. We're all very different. And that has been so cool to see, because one of Fred Shoemaker's he's been teaching this for, eons, decades, that we all have our own way of moving, right? And it's the throwing motion and throwing clubs, but we've also been getting into sort of these baseball throws and kind of feeling how our bodies move. Well, he was able to show us on the Body Trak that we were all unique even in our throwing motions. We all just do things our own unique way, and it's based on how our body's made up, the size of our bones and how big our muscles are and how flexible we are, and all of that contributes to how our center of pressure moves in these really natural movements. In order to do something and stay balanced and stay upright, our bodies have to operate a certain way, and it's amazing. All this data that we have to process, that our body has to process in order to do these super complex moves. And that gets into the whole idea of why are we trying to control these super complex moves with our conscious mind? who's a moron and can't do it, right? It's impossible for the conscious mind to take control of such a complicated movement and keep us balanced and keep us connected to a target and keep us doing all these things that we have to do. Okay, so anyway, so pulling up the Body Trak. So I want to bring up just kind of a little sample. I'll use the cursor. We'll go through it really quickly. I don't want to get bogged down too much, but it's such cool stuff. I just want to show you what we're looking at. And I will definitely do more as I continue to go on through this certification and understand it more clearly, where I can maybe explain it a little bit better for everybody to understand, and definitely the nuggets and the little pieces that will help us as amateurs play golf better with less crazy hard practice where we don't know what we're doing, the more I'm going to share. Okay, so I'm going to bring up another screen over here. Let's see here. If we do, where is the side screen? That should do it. Yeah, okay, cool. There it is. Sorry, looks like I've got my picture up too. So what we're looking at here is the Body Trak. And it's essentially, it's got essentially four different spots in the golf swing. You've got here set up, right? And you can't look at it this way. You have to think of somebody facing me, right? So you've got, these are the backs of their feet, and these are the balls of their feet here in the front. Okay, so that gets kind of confusing a little bit, but just try to kind of stick with us there, okay? So this is the back foot in the golf swing. This is the heel. This is the ball. This is the heel of the front foot. This is the ball of the front foot. Okay, and you can see here that as far as pressure goes, you've got 52% of the pressure on the back foot and 48% of the pressure on the front foot. But they've also broken down, you've got 53% of the pressure of the front foot, right? Of this 48% is on the ball and 47% is on the back. And then back here, we've got exactly the same thing. We've got 53% on the front of the 52%. 53% of that pressure is on the ball and 47% is on the back. So a very athletic position on the balls of their feet, ready to go, right? So right now, just looking at this, this is a good player. They're in an athletic position and they're ready to go. Okay, now this, you can see here that into this swing here, you've essentially got your arm parallel to the ground in the backswing. And we can see here you've got 74% of the pressure now is in the back foot. 26% is in the front foot. And of the 26% in the front foot, you've got 76% of that in the ball of the front foot. And you've got here 55% in the ball and 45% in the heel. Okay, going up, getting ready to log in. We don't have a kind of at the top of the backswing, but essentially you see the pressure building here and you see more weight go to this heel portion of the foot. Now, when you hit fades and when you hit draws and things, you can see people using the pressure in their feet to hit those different shots, which is, that's fascinating stuff. That's incredible. But so you can say, okay, I want you to hit a fade, and then you watch how they use the pressure in their back foot to set them up for a fade or to set them up for a draw. And I won't get too far into that, but it's super amazing. You can also see this little white little circle here is the center of pressure moving back, right? We've got 75, 74, 26. The center of pressure is pretty much in the center here, but it's in the back now, right? It's right in between the feet, moving back. Okay, cool. So that's how it goes. Now this frame here is now the arm parallel to the ground on the downswing. You can see that now it's almost reversed. You have got 78% of the pressure to the front foot, and of that, 66% of that pressure is on the front foot heel. Only 34% is on the ball. So it's come all the way forward and moved back. The pressure is now back in that front foot heel. 66% of it, which is amazing, right? And then you've got, of the back foot, you've got now the pressure that was here, right? You've got 76% or 26%. We've got 75% or 22% now back in this back heel, sort of pushing off, right? And getting going. They jumped off, and so there's a little there. It's moved here. And then we see it impact, which is completely interesting. you see now in the follow through, you've got, and you can see the center of pressure here all the way up here on the front foot. Okay, super, super cool. Am I not doing it? Oh my gosh, I should have been doing it over here. Can you see the cursor? Is the cursor coming up at all? There it is. I apologize. Anyway, so that is the center of pressure. If I leave my cursor, does it show up? I'm sorry. Anyway, see the little ball there? That's kind of confusing. I thought my cursor was supposed to be working and it's not. So, dang it, there. It's kind of working. I apologize, but anyway, so that's the little white ball is the center of pressure. I mentioned it in the second frame there. Does this work at all if I go fast? No. Okay, so in the second frame where I talked about 74 instead of 26, I apologize. So it's anyway, I can't even really point. Does that help? This one is what I'm looking at. Can I move this? No, I can't. All right. Anyway, so the second one here, not the third one down over there. Oh, finger. Anyway. Okay, so the second one, I'll try to do it over here, right? But you can see in this third frame, oh, it's showing up now. So you can see in this third frame, that is the center of pressure. That is the center of pressure in the second frame. I'm slowly doing it over there, but watching it here. You can see that the center of pressure has moved towards the back foot. Oh man, I didn't do any of this. So this is the front foot, and this is the back foot. Okay, so then in your takeaway, you can see instantly as your front arm is parallel to the ground in the backswing, you can see then you've got 55% on the ball of your foot and 45% on the heel, and 74% of the pressure is towards the back foot. I've got my cursor now. And you can see 26% then is left on the front foot in the ball, but this is in the backswing. Once you get up to the top of your backswing, you'll see upwards. Mine was 98% on this back. The pressure was on this back foot, but looking at me, it doesn't look like there's any sort of weight shift. You can see that there's, that I'm bracing on that back leg, but the pressure is almost 100% to this back foot. And then as you start to come down, now we get back into here. Now on the downswing, you've got the club, again, back foot here, okay, front foot here. So in the downswing with the club parallel to the ground coming into the ball, you can see that the center of pressure, which this is brilliant because it's moved down the center line, this is a very good player. The center of pressure now is balanced between the heel and the toe, and of the 78%, 66% of that pressure is on the heel. Right? It's moved all the way and back to the heel. That's unbelievable. That's really cool. That's what we're talking about. Now, at this point, for me, at this point in my golf swing, the weight moves back into this portion of it, which is not awesome. And I'm like at 50-50 at impact. And then my center of pressure moves back into here, which is awful. It's not what you want. But there's so much about turning in a barrel and all that stuff that you think about, that there's a lot of amateurs that have this issue. When you throw a ball, all your weight goes to the front here, and it stays here. So in golf, sometimes we see amateurs' center of pressure come back to the center. Mine does. A lot of viewers out there do it as well, because we've been told to turn in a barrel, and we have now, communicated to ourselves that means we have to be centered over our feet, and so that's how we're swinging, right? We're trying to turn and swing and stay in a barrel. Well, that's not how we naturally move when we're propelling something. We go to our back foot here, and then we jump forward. Our center of pressure goes way forward here, and a lot of the weight goes to our front heel as we propel that thing out there. And so that's what we're learning. And then here in the follow through, you can see you've got 23% of the pressure here and on the back foot, and then boom, it's all gone back to the back. The pressure's gone to the back here. Well, this is an impact. So you see like a Bubba Watson or a Justin Thomas or a Lexi Thompson who use the ground and jump up and post up at that left leg. You can see all the pressure essentially leaving. Any pressure that's left of this 23% that's left in the front foot, it's not on the toe. it's only on the heel. And then you've got it 60-40 split of the 77% on the back foot, just because the front foot is off the ground. Now, the center of this person is probably somewhere in here, but you can see the center of pressure has moved back. 77% is back here. But it's literally just because they've jumped off the ground, all this pressure that they had here at the 78, they've leapt off the ground and now left the ground, really. I mean, you've only got 23% there on the heel and then through the ball. So that's kind of the stuff that we're learning with the Body Trak. It's super fascinating, amazing stuff. I hope that was interesting to you. I'm sorry about the cursor. That kind of stunk. But hopefully we got through it okay and it made some sense. So when you're out there, take time to feel how your body's moving and see if you can feel where the pressure's going on. Even in your practice swings, when you take back, you can't help when you start your club back to feel pressure build up on your back foot. It happens naturally. So feel that. And can you focus enough on the pressure in your feet to feel how it's moving in your golf swing? And is it moving to the front part of your golf swing and staying there? Or is it shifting back? Because it really needs to stay there. That's the more natural move. And you can get that feeling just by throwing a ball. Or if you're left-handed, throw it this way. And if you're right-handed, throw it this way. But just throw a ball and see how that movement, how that works for you. How you naturally change the pressure in your feet in an athletic movement. Because that will help your golf game a lot. Okay? We'll get into what this means for chipping, what it means for putting, a lot of different stuff. The Body Trak is so cool. It tracks everything and it's so precise. And I can't get over how much information you can get from the top of your head all the way down on a mat that you're standing on. But it's completely fascinating. And this center of pressure is changing a lot of what we know about the golf swing. And the more we know about the golf swing, the shorter amount of time it's going to take for us to get better at this amazing game. So hopefully that's helpful. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the Travelers. I'm pointing at the TV. Enjoy the Travelers. It should be a good tournament. That course is gorgeous, in great shape. And yeah, we've got some players that are coming up. It should be a good time. So until next time, Aaron Stewart saying, remember, better data from the Body Trak or from wherever else you can get it always means better golf. Thanks.